I'm a little bit skeptical about this video. This channel is about electric vehicles from a consumer standpoint. I answer your questions, share my experiences, and try to provide useful information, mostly from the point of view of a potential Fisker Ocean owner. And what better way to answer your questions than by going straight to the source? Am I crazy for doing it? Don't answer that. But that's right, I didn't disappear over the last month. I just read the entire Fisker Ocean Owner's Manual during the month of June 2023, and I'd like to share with you all the interesting things I found out. I think the personality of this vehicle, as well as the personality of Fisker as a company, reveals itself a little bit inside the manual. And that's not all that's hidden. There are some things that we need to know that do not appear in this document. I'll talk about those a little later on. First, I might as well get straight to the secret slides, of which there are 2, and here's how they are hidden. Essentially, the interface for the web-based owner's manual is a slide-style presentation. However, in order to find these hidden slides, you must either click the link that specifically refers to them in a separate slide, or use the search field to, I guess, discover them. There are no existing references in the index to these slides, even though they say they appear in the ADAS section. And if that doesn't say something about Fisker as a company, I don't know what does. Does it mean that Fisker is trying to hide something? Or does it mean that the only reason the slides exist is for legal protection? Probably both. But let's break down what they say first. One is entitled ADAS Limitations. A pretty good slide to hide, I guess. It talks about all the things that can hinder the ability for the ADAS system to work. The other slide is entitled Driver Monitoring System. It describes how to silence the driver attention monitoring alerts that result from taking your eyes off the road. The Ocean has an interior camera that monitors your attention, and if it thinks you are not paying attention, you will get alerts, unless you disable them. I think it's good that you can turn off the alerts, but not such a good look to make the change so hard to locate in the owner's manual. And those are the hidden slides. Did you find any other hidden slides? Let me know in the comments below. On to the other interesting stuff. The Fisker Ocean has Tesla Model S style doors. Whether or not you think that's a good thing, it's just the reality of it. There are other vehicles that have these electronically presenting door handles as well. The thing I found interesting is that to open them from the inside when locked, you must pull twice. Pull the interior handle to open a door. If the door is locked, pull the handle to unlock it. Pull a second time to open the door. That's kind of weird. Also, if the doors are locked and the vehicle loses power, the doors can't be unlocked until the vehicle receives power. Don't like that. Also, opening interior doors with no power can be done, it's just 2 pulls once again. The next interesting thing I found was California mode and how to use it. There are 3 ways: the key fob, the app, or the button on the overhead console. But there's some other things linked to California mode we need to know as well. Like the doggy windows can only be opened and closed using California mode. This is the only way to open the doggy windows, which means if you don't have California mode, those doggy windows are not going anywhere. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I've gotten this question a lot of times. Why doesn't the Ocean have a rear wiper? Because the power liftgate window rolls down. But there is no one press up or down on this window. Open or close the power liftgate window using any of the following methods: pull and hold the illustrated switch on the overhead console to open all windows, or push and hold to close. Press and hold the liftgate window on the key fob. And that's it. Also down here, you must hold the button or switch as the window is moving. There is no one press up down feature on the rear window. But if you're wondering why there's no rear wiper, it's because of this power window. Unless you have an Ultra or a Sport, because there's a really good chance this up down feature doesn't exist at all on those trims. The seat adjustments in the prototype that I saw in Brooklyn, New York are much more similar to the production model than I expected, including the fact that there is no lumbar adjustment. This one kind of hurts a little bit. Boosts are limited in number and frequency, and you're notified when they're available, and they cannot be available to you over 4 miles per hour. The vehicle will precondition to prepare for a boost, and if the precondition fails or a boost is attempted before the system is ready, a boost restricted notification displays, and it looks like we only get 500 boosts total. If so, maybe that performance upgrade isn't quite worth it. That's $3.60 per boost, on top of the fact that the number is limited, if indeed it is limited. But I don't think there's any other way to interpret the language in the manual. And then there's the rumor that the performance package is no longer available on the Ultra at all. let's address that. It has been published for several months that the Ocean will not arrive feature complete for anyone, especially those getting them early. So to offer these packages, the Ultimate package and especially the Fisker Intelligent Pilot package, as over-the-air upgrades only, Fisker doesn't need to rush the rollout because you've already paid for something you don't have. I think the communication has not been great, but I do think it is better than promising something that you can't deliver as opposed to delivering something later that you could decide to upgrade to. Does that impact your personal decision on whether or not to get this vehicle? Maybe, and it probably should, especially if the driving you do would benefit greatly from that Fisker Intelligent Pilot package. Cruise control, speaking of Intelligent Pilot, is called drive control, and it's exactly that. Set a speed, it goes that speed. If you're not using the Fisker Intelligent Pilot or you haven't been able to upgrade to it yet, you're not getting adaptive cruise of any type. I've confirmed this in a past video, but here it is in plain language, almost no interpretation required. There is definitely no one-pedal driving option in the Fisker Ocean. There are 3 levels of regen, none are described as one-pedal driving. Let's talk about the drive modes. In order to have high regenerative braking, you need the slowest mode. In order to have the fastest mode, you must sacrifice regenerative braking, unless you manually set it yourself, which does look possible. But I could be totally wrong about this. In fact, everything I say could be wrong because there are no reviews of this vehicle or evidence to the contrary. Fisker, please prove me wrong or right by telling us how the vehicle works using some kind of visual presentation. The Chevy Silverado EV, for example, debuted this week and literally hundreds of reviews went up at the same time. I reserved a Fisker Ocean in 2020, and I know way more about the Silverado EV than I do the Fisker Ocean. And remember, I've read the entire manual. Okay, rant over. The AC port has to be turned on via the touchscreen, but it can support up to 1.5 kilowatts, which is enough to charge another EV at level 1, which is huge if true. And 1.5 kilowatts can power a lot of demanding tools as well. Also, everyone gets at least one wireless charging pad. Very good to know. And then there's the software updates. You must unplug your vehicle to complete a software update. That's not a joke. It's real. It's written right here. Holy requirements. This is not a Tesla, and most of you would say that's a good thing, but in this case, maybe not. Here's how it works. You must be in park. You must be at least 30% charge. You must unplug the charging cable. All occupants must exit the vehicle. But just below that it says, in an emergency, pull twice on an interior door to unlock that door. And my favorite, do not leave valuables in the vehicle while it's updating, because is it going to potentially steal my valuables during the update? Probably not. It's probably just because the vehicle is completely incapacitated. And if you didn't believe me about it being unplugged from that language, it says it right here on the software notification. To start installation, your vehicle must be unplugged. During the update, your vehicle and climate controls will be inoperable and your doors will be locked. So what happens when you install the update when it prompts you instead of scheduling it? Do you have to immediately exit and lock the vehicle? This section gave me more questions than answers. Speaking of not a Tesla, when you drive for 10 minutes over 15 miles per hour, the TPMS in a Tesla resets automatically, but you do have to reset it in the Ocean. I thought I'd bring up this next part because it's a hot topic in most electric vehicle forums. And in this case, it's right in the manual. Try not to charge it using DC fast charging as often as possible. So stay away from the hot kilowatts if you can. Many would say, I paid for that 100 kilowatt hour battery. Those kilowatt hours are mine to use as I feel. Others will say, yeah, it's a good idea not to DC fast charge. It creates a lot of heat and eventually more degradation. Some would say charge to 100% every day. Others would say 80 is probably safer. I'm interested to hear what you think down in the comments. Let me know where you stand on this one. Another concept I've had a lot of questions about is the streaming. You can stream in your Ocean even if you don't have Hollywood mode. It does not say you need to have the screen rotated to access streaming. And if all Oceans didn't come with it, it would say if equipped right here, because it does in every other part of the manual with optional equipment being referenced. You can open the hood. It takes a trim trim removal tool, and a 13mm socket. There is absolutely no storage, and I would call somebody who knows their way around tools before you embark on this journey, for the sake of your paint. I would love to tell you how to replace the cabin air filter, but Fisker does not tell you how to replace the cabin air filter. The cabin air filter will be replaced by Fisker when needed during your regularly scheduled service intervals. My regularly scheduled service interval for a cabin air filter is a trip to AutoZone. I'm sure someone will figure it out though. Got the Alcantara? Use a cloth and warm water to clean. Do not use steam or upholstery cleaners or any method that would saturate the seats with liquid. And of course, as with many sections in the manual, not following these instructions could result in injury or death. The solar roof is really cool. In fact, it will tell you how much sunshine it is absorbing at any time. Excellent. The ground clearance. We've talked about this in many videos, and we've all been optimistic until the actual stats were released. Well, the manual says 5 inches, and I really hope that's not true. How about roadside assistance? Fisker provides roadside assistance for 6 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first, but it's not detailed how that works directly in the manual. So what did I do? I checked to see if we were covered, and the answer is yes. Lodging, alternate transportation, and warranty work are on the house. Any service not covered by the warranty is obviously on you, but the tow truck and transportation seem to be covered by this 6-year, 60,000 mile service. Speaking of roadside assistance, let's talk about transporting the vehicle. Don't use the recovery eye to pull the Ocean out of a ditch. Use nylon straps tied to the lower control arms. If you do decide to use the recovery eye to move the vehicle, it can be mounted on the front and the back. If you need to load it on a trailer or just move it in general when it can't move itself, here's the 2 ways to do that. Once you get it towed, you'll probably need service. And how about that big bad high voltage battery that's so scary and could cause injury or death? The answer is there's a disconnect under the hood near the 12-volt battery. Locate the disconnect, press the red tab on the connector, slide the inner block part of the connector out of the housing. It does not fully remove. Insert a padlock through the hole and start your service. For us not tech-savvy folks, there's an event data recorder, which will record things that happened before and during an accident in order to determine its cause. You do have the right to refuse anyone looking at it, except in the event of a legal proceeding. Just something good to know, so there's no surprise later. In that same vein, you can opt out of all the privacy stuff that Fisker is obviously going to collect, knowing this is an internet-connected vehicle. But if you do, your choice may, in Fisker's words, quote, affect your use and enjoyment of the vehicle, end quote. Now let's look at things that aren't in the manual. Well, kind of. Fisker Connected Services is mentioned a few times, and I'm pretty sure it's similar to Tesla Premium Connectivity, but there isn't any detail in this document. And I'm sure many of you are curious about this when I get comments like, the manual is not Sport Ultra or Ocean One specific. Fisker said the Sport has no navigation or maps. Did that change? I don't know the answer to that, and neither does the manual. Also, there's no dog mode. If there is a dog mode, it's not in the manual. Also, this email confused a lot of people, I think. Enhanced delivery updates for Ocean One. Our Fisker team is committed to providing you with first-class customer service and satisfaction. Now that deliveries of the Ocean One have begun, we can more accurately gauge estimated delivery timelines. You can expect us to provide you with more frequent updates in the coming weeks. Those are definitely words, but they really don't say anything. We are in the process of finalizing our ramp-up schedules for high-volume, high-quality parts from sustainable suppliers and resolving issues with a few others previously mentioned. Although speed of delivery is important, our emphasis on quality control helps us recognize and resolve any component quality issues before they are installed in vehicles. I don't know if we needed to know that at all. We recognize that many of our customers are eagerly awaiting a final delivery date, and we appreciate your patience. Our team is working to expedite the process and fulfill orders as soon as possible. Once again, not a lot really said in that paragraph. We have scheduled the release of final delivery dates for some customers during the week of June 26th. We will send a message in the coming weeks that will include additional delivery schedules and the latest updates. Please know that delivering your vehicle is our top priority. So some people this week, if you're watching this video the day it came out, are going to get more information this week, but that doesn't mean most of us will. I think this email was to let you know that Fisker is trying as hard as they can, but I wouldn't expect anything right away, especially if you know where you are in line and it's a 4-digit number. If you have any information, please feel free to share that in the comments below, or let's talk at adamsevreviews@yahoo.com. I'm working working on a video answering all of your recent questions. When that's done, I'll make sure to put it at the end of this video. And now, since I've read the entire Fisker Ocean manual, it's your turn. That's right, I put the whole thing on video. If you don't want to look at it now, make sure you bookmark it for later, so you can access it when you need it. It's right here with a great table of contents at the very beginning. Also, I just finished my deposit for my Fisker Ocean Sport. That video's here. Subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.
Hey, smash the like button.
Thank you.